Hi guys, welcome to Checkpoint class. After a long time, we are having Checkpoint class. Okay, and it's very important for you guys when you go for a Checkpoint interviews and all. They'll give you assessment initially when you'll go for a Checkpoint job and all when you'll apply, right? They'll give you first task as a Checkpoint task. They'll give you some assessment that will be online where you have to get a GUI access of the firewall and you have to configure some IP. I mean, if you know this task, whatever we'll be doing here, the assessment part will be very easy for you guys. Reason, they'll give you a step-by-step task. Open this browser, give this IP, then log in with these credentials, configure this interface. Step by step in the assessment, it will be given. To understand that assessment also, you should have some basic knowledge on the checkpoint firewall at least. And last time when Checkpoint Firewall company had come here, right, when I spoke with them, they were looking for some IPS stuff as well, IPS filtering and all, also how to apply. So what I'm thinking is this time, whatever they had suggested me, I'll be including all those topics so that it will be helpful for you guys. Okay. If you see syllabus given by Checkpoint, that is very minimal. I mean, very less. And they haven't covered all those professional topics inside that course curriculum, which can help you further to work on a real devices. So what I have done, I have customized it. I'll show you in today's session. I'll basically show you what are the details, what we are going to cover. I'll give you a history and also the background knowledge about the checkpoint firewall, how it came, who came up with, when did it release, what happened. Every basic information I'll give it today. Even basic informations are very, very important. Why important? Let's say if you go for a job and you cleared technical round, HR round, now you'll have manager round. In a manager round, what question they'll ask you? Two type of questions might be. They might ask you, tell me, why did you feel interested in a checkpoint firewall? Now, if you don't know a history about a checkpoint firewall, what will you tell? So basically, you'll tell, what you will tell is, checkpoint firewall was introduced in 90s, around 1993. It is Israel-based company, one of the stable company. When Israel was having a war, even that time also company was very much stable and didn't fire multiple, I mean, didn't lay off the employees and all. So it's a stable company. And, you know, Checkpoint Firewall has their own copyright firewalls. Earlier, I mean, you'll keep on telling about the history, whatever I'll be teaching you guys, that history you'll keep in mind. So that will be one plus point that you can tell yourself. This can be one of the question in your manager round. Second question can be, they'll put you in a situation. Okay, let's say they want to know what's your potential, what's your fear, right? They'll ask you, like, let's say you're working in a team and you got some ticket today. And let's say there was a holiday, but you are working that day and there is no one to help you out. And you are a fresher. How will you handle this situation? They will literally put you in a situation where you'll feel that now I don't have any other way to come out. But you have to be positive. You have to say, I'll try my level best. I'll see the ticket, what level of challenges are there. I'll try doing my own level of research based on my knowledge. I'll try to fix the issue. If not, I'll try going through the official documents of the checkpoint. I'll search, but I'll try to fix it even then, even though I don't have any, support at that particular time. You have to be positive in any situation. Still, they'll say if you are not able to figure it out, then what you'll do? I'll still keep trying. I'll try my level best based on my previous training also, and also based on the documents and all. AI support, this, that. You'll give all possible reasons that you can use to fix it. But you'll never say, okay, in that situation, I might not be able to do, or I don't know what to do. Don't give negative feedback. Be positive all the time. This type of situations can come in your interview, in a manager round. Technical round, in a checkpoint firewall, those who have a checkpoint training, they will have add-on positiveness. I mean, if you have a certification also done, that will be more advantage, that will give you more priority. But generally, we don't suggest you guys to go for a certification, but anyone who has some gap, career gap, who is willing to go for a checkpoint firewall, but has a year gap and all. If you are confident with your technology, and if you feel that I can crack an interview, suggested is go for certification, at least basic certification that will put your resume at top compared to any other, or else not required. Okay. Checkpoint certification will not help you in a Palo Alto, but it will give add-on value that at least you are certified to any firewall. So Checkpoint firewall has multiple courses, guys. It has multiple like cyber security field, it has cloud field, it has firewall field, it has. So what exactly we are going with? Which training are we going with it? Okay. That type of informations I'll be giving you guys in today's class. First of all, you can see we have CCSA, we have CCSE. Okay. Now here R80 or R81. Okay. The current version that we are going to learn right now is R81. Okay. This is the version that we are going to learn, R81. Please note down. R81 is nothing but it's a version of a operating system of your checkpoint firewall. Like in some firewalls, you see 10.x, 9.x, right? 10.0, 11.0, that is the version, right? But in a checkpoint firewall, it's like R. It starts with R81, R something. So the current version of a checkpoint firewall is R81.x. Dot X can be dot 10, dot 20, dot 30, dot 40, anything, but overall, the major version is R81 of a checkpoint firewall currently. Now, here you might see written as a checkpoint firewall software technologies. Anywhere you search in a Google also checkpoint firewall, one tagline will be there, software technologies. Why is that given? The reason is Checkpoint Firewall was originally a software company. Rather than saying a hardware company or a firewall company, you can say it was originally a software company. Okay. I'll tell you about the history step by step. But before that, understand what course are we going through. We are doing CCSA course. Okay. We are doing CCSA course. CCSA stands for Checkpoint Certified Security Administrator. Okay. CCSA. And a current version is R81.X version. This certification is your primary certification. After that, you can go for CCSE. And you know, the level of expectations that Checkpoint has, you'll find most of the topics in CCSE. You'll go with Checkpoint Certified Security Expert, CCSE. So those topics, what I have done is I have taken in a CCSA itself. So this training is about CCSA plus few of the topics of your CCSE. That's how combined way I'll be taking a training of your checkpoint firewall. Overall, my concept is to make you guys professionally good so that you guys can work as a professional whenever you go for a checkpoint firewall. That's the concern. Now let's talk about history and market value of a checkpoint firewall. Before that, you need to know when was checkpoint firewall introduced. See, in 1993, okay, in Israel there was Ramat Gan, some place in Israel. At this place in 1993 by Gill, your checkpoint firewall was created. Okay, you guys can check out a Wikipedia as well. You can see checkpoint Wikipedia. Now, if you see here in a checkpoint Wikipedia, currently it's actively working in a 60 countries, right? And you can say when was the company founded? 1993, which is around 32 years ago. Okay, so that's a history. Since 1993 till now, since 1993 till now, Checkpoint has one record, and that's good for you guys. You know Gartner Magic. Gartner Magic is one firm who does analysis for all the security products in a market. Okay, so this is a report of 2018. If you search in a Google Gartner Magic of 2014, 2010, you'll find Checkpoint firewall at the top firewall. Since it has been introduced in a market, it has been already kept its legacy in a leaders category. You'll always see Checkpoint firewall in a leaders category. In 2018, Palo Alto was at the top. Before 2016, I mean, if you see 2014-15, Checkpoint firewall was at the top. Then Palo Alto, then Fortinet, then Cisco, then Checkpoint. But later, right now, if you see at the top, we have Fortinet, then we have Palo Alto, then we have Checkpoint. But it has maintained its legacy in a leaders category from beginning itself. That's the best part of your Checkpoint firewall. So this also can be a reason that you can tell in a manager round that Checkpoint firewall has made its position stable in a leaders category since it has been introduced in the market, according to Gartner Magic. That also can be one positive thing to tell. Why did you choose Checkpoint firewall compared to others? Now, one good part I'll show you guys here. Right now, you know Palo Alto, FortiGate, Checkpoint, ASA, FTD, around 5 firewalls. Read this line, what's written here. Over the years, many employees who worked at Checkpoint Firewall had left to start their own software companies. Mir Juk, who founded Palo Alto Firewall Networks, even this guy was a part of Checkpoint team. He understood. See, architecture-wise, it's a different. Palo Alto architecture, Checkpoint architecture is different. But if you see next generation features, they are same. But way to enable, way to work is little different. Checkpoint firewall is different than any other firewalls that you'll have experience. Checkpoint firewall initially has some complications to understand. because the architecture itself is very much different than any other firewalls. Okay, so we'll understand how is it different than any other firewalls, what is the architecture and all. Here, one thing is very clear. Checkpoint firewall is a kind of father to many of the other firewalls. You can see here Toughen or other firewalls because those guys had left this company to start their own software companies. So same guys split it again. They created their own companies. And one of the famous company, topmost company in the current days are Pollard. Okay. Right now also, Checkpoint Firewall is in a third position worldwide as a firewall. Now, initially when Checkpoint introduced a firewall, you know, it was only a software based. Later, they collaborated with Nokia. In 1998, they collaborated with Nokia company. They did a partnership. Why? Because software was with Checkpoint, but the hardware wasn't there. So they collaborated with Nokia. Nokia gave hardware and Checkpoint gave software. They collaborated together and they made a bundle and they called the first firewall as a IPSO firewall. First firewall of a Checkpoint with a hardware was called IPSO firewall. Before that, it just had a software based firewall. With the hardware, they created it as a IPSO firewall. And in that, they had an operating system. Guys, if you see this hardware, if you see this picture at the top, do you see Nokia is written? My PC is little slow today. I don't know why. Guys, if you see here at the top, it's written Nokia, and here written as a Checkpoint. So it's a collaborated type of device created that time. And inside that IPSO firewall, they had an operating system called as a SPLAT, and that was created based on the FreeBSD Linux itself. The first operating system of a Checkpoint firewall collaborated with Nokia was called Splat. Take a note. Guys, all of you understood? The first firewall collaboration with Nokia was IPSO, and the operating system was called Splat. But later, what happened? This partnership things does not work for a long time. So around 9 or 10, 11 years after collaboration, Checkpoint acquired Nokia hardware. Okay. Checkpoint acquired. Now copyright of a hardware was with Checkpoint. And after that, Checkpoint created a new operating system. And that new operating system was called Gaia. Take a note. So Checkpoint Firewall acquired your Nokia hardware, and now it created a new operating system called as a Gaia operating system. And hereafter, journey of Checkpoint starts. Okay, it's one of the best enterprise gateway firewall. Okay, this is some history that I have created here. 1998, there was a firewalls like packet filtering firewall, which used to filter packets based on IP address and port numbers, but wasn't having visibility inside a payload part. 1993 checkpoint, in 2000 Fortinet, and in 2005 Palo Alto firewall was introduced. Okay, now starting with very basics here. Guys, in this class, how many of you are very new to firewall, attending the first class of firewall? Online, anyone? Three guys are there in a physical class. Online, anyone having a first class here as a checkpoint firewall?
Yeah, myself. This is the first class of
Okay,
about firewall.
Rajshekhar. Yes, one.
Yes, sir. Kirtan.
All right. So around 3, 4 guys, I mean, total 6, 7 guys are there who are totally new. See, first of all, you have to know basics of firewall, because when you go for any interviews and all, they won't directly ask you, hey, tell me how do you configure firewall? As a fresher, they won't ask you such things. They'll ask you what is firewall, what is zone, right? Uh, what is architecture of a firewall? What is packet flow of a firewall? This type of questions will come initially. Okay, they won't directly ask you, tell me configuration, those things. No, they won't ask you. So let's understand things from very basic. Okay, and then we'll go for next level. So what is firewall? What's firewall, guys? What is
Sir,
firewall?
a firewall is a network security device or software, sir, that monitors and controls incoming and outgoing network traffic based on predefined security rules.
Perfect. Okay. Anyone else?
Firewall is a security device that control and monitor outgoing and ingoing traffic, which is predefined.
Okay. All right, guys. Anyone else?
And it can be either hardware or software.
So we'll understand little bit about fundamentals of firewall, where we'll try to understand how exactly it works. See, fundamentals of firewall, which helps you to understand about firewalls, firewall details, what is firewall, different vendors of a firewall, types of firewall, Gartner Magic Report, stateless, stateful, all these types. What is firewall? See, when you get experience with a firewall, right, you can create your own definitions. One way you guys can tell the definition of a firewall based on your understanding. Okay. What is firewall? A firewall is defined as a cyber security tool or a security tool that monitors incoming, outgoing network traffic and permits or block the data packets based on the set of rules. Understood? So there are few keywords that you should define. Like firewall is a security tool or a device. Incoming, outgoing network traffic, permit, block. This type of keywords you should include in your definition to define what is firewall. Okay. Firewall. Two things, right? Fire and wall. So Firewall. Wall, you see the icon I have taken here, right? Wall type of icon. What does a wall do? Separates anything, right?
Yes.
At your home, you have two rooms separated by wall. So wall is nothing but it's used for separation. And where the firewall should be deployed in a network? You should know you have a router, you have a switch, you have PC, you have a proper places to connect with each other, right? Can you put switch in a place of router? Properties of router is different, properties of switch is different. At your home, you guys have a router. For what purpose? For internet access. Are you directly connecting ISP connection to your PC or you're connecting to your router? And so ISP connection connected to a router, and through router, you guys are getting connected. It means your router is connecting you between private and public network. I mean, router is helping you to connect internet. You're receiving private IPs and your private IPs are getting internet access based on translation. Your router does translation by default. That means your device is working as a ACE device. ACE device in the sense it's a device which is working between your LAN and WAN network. That is called ACE device. Any device that works that works between your private and public network, that is called ACE device. Okay. So here you can see a firewall deployed between your untrusted network, trusted network, and your DMZ servers. Here we have different zones. Zones are nothing but it's an area that you define where your devices, clients, or internet accesses are. On a firewall, you'll have multiple interfaces. In an interface, you'll define, okay, this interface is connected to my switch and switch is connected with my internal employees. That is my LAN network. And LAN network is in your control. If you want to modify, if you want to make changes, if you want to change subnet, anything, it's in your control. WAN, is Google in your control? Is Facebook in your control? WAN means which is not in your control. So interface are connected with different type of zones. So how does a firewall do filtering? Anything that passes through firewall can be controlled. Anything that does not pass through firewall can't be controlled. For example, let's say I have a PC here. This PC traffic is going to your switch and locally it is communicating to the other guy. Is this traffic passing to your firewall? Can this traffic be controlled by firewall? No. It means this is not a responsibility of firewall. Now I take a single interface here, and this single interface is connected with all your internal traffics. All the internal hosts, when they want an internet access, they has to send the traffic through a single interface. Collection of traffics passing through a single interface and then defining a policy. That is basically zone. So zone defines a particular interface. Zone is nothing but a name given to your physical interface. It's a logical name. It represents the interface. For example, your physical name of my interface can be G0 by 0. Can I say my traffic is passing through G0 by 0 interface? You can if it is a router. But if it is a firewall, you can't tell like that. You have to tell, hey, this is my LAN interface. You have to give some name, logical name. This name can be changed. That's why we call it as a logical name. Physical name. G0 by 0 is physical name. At your home, you guys have some home name, right? But do you write that name in a certificate? No. Why? That's not your permanent name. So physical name can't be erased. You can't remove that. You can't edit it. G0 by 0 is physical name. LAN is a logical name. Logical name can be edited, removed, something. So every interface has to represent it with some name. LAN, WAN, DMZ, like that we can represent some names. Here in a DMZ, you might see two interfaces. We can keep it for redundancy. If one interface goes down, I have other interface to take care, right? So in general, we have three official names. When I talk about any firewall, right? Officially, you have three names: LAN, WAN, DMZ. But depends on firewall, which firewall uses what type of name. Those who have done ASA firewall, they might be knowing in ASA firewall, word inside plays a vital role. The word inside has a value. It gives you a security label of 100. The word inside. In checkpoint firewall, we don't have any concept like security label. Okay. So depending on vendor firewalls, names will differ. Some firewalls will use word inside and outside, especially Cisco. Some firewalls will use word trusted, untrusted. Meaning are same, but effects are different. Some firewalls will use LAN, WAN. Some will use private, public. Understanding wise, they all are same, but Cisco has a specific meaning with inside. Okay, but it represents your LAN network itself. LAN is your local area network, private IP. WAN is your internet public IP. What is DMZ? What is D? Its full form is demilitarized zone. DMZ, demilitarized zone. You know this word demilitarized zone? Demilitarized. I mean, military is not there. This word has come from military. Now see how. This is border of Pakistan, and this is border of India. Okay, understood. This is Pakistan and this is India. Here you'll find military, and here also you'll find military. Between these two countries, there is a free space. This space is free space. In this area, you'll not find military. So the gap between two zones, we call it as a demilitarized zone. You understood? This area, you won't find any military. We call it as a demilitarized zone. Clear? So this word has come from same concept. And how does that concept match here? I'll tell you. Guys, I might have my servers, like in NH, we have multiple servers and all. If I put my server here, let's say I have two servers connected here. I'll put two servers here. Forget about DMZ zone as of now. I have only LAN zone and WAN zone. First thing, if employee wants to access server, they can directly access. Does firewall have any control on the server access? Okay. Employees will go WAN, will go for internet access. Fine. These employees might get attacked from hackers. Let's say for some reason hackers has compromised this employee PC because they were accessing internet, clicked on some link and something. He or she got hacked, compromised. So don't you think, let's say they created some tunnel or something, and through that they will get access to this employee, and from here they might attack your servers? Possible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, possible. These things are possible. So what we have to do,
DMZ rules.
and if I keep my server at outside, again, it's not in our control again, right? So, and another disadvantages I'll tell you, at one single interface, let's say if someone wants the access to your server, at one interface, huge load will be there. At LAN interface, LAN traffic is also there. DMZ, server access traffics are also there. If I want to separate these two sessions, employee session and server session, it will be very difficult to manage. So several reasons are there. Sorry. Several reasons are there where I might need a separate zone. And when you create a zone, that means your traffic has to pass through firewall. You have made a situation where traffic has to pass through the firewall. There is no other way. It has to pass. So what will happen? Host, now let's say I deployed a firewall in a separate zone as a DMZ. You guys are accessing NH server from WAN, from internet you are coming to DMZ zone and accessing a server. Is there any involvement of your LAN zone? No. So I segregated our traffic. It means my employees are safe now. Unnecessary traffics are not there. If any employee also wants to get access to a server, they have to send a traffic to to LAN to DMZ. Traffic will pass through the firewall from one interface to other interface. I can take a control of that as well. So this is the benefit of having different zones. So zone is nothing but you're categorizing your networks. LAN network, WAN network, DMZ network, access to a server. In a server, you can have a public server, private server, which you might need to access from internal zone, external zone. So like that, we segregate the traffics between the different type of access. Server access, LAN access, WAN access, these all are categorized and monitored by firewall and controlled by firewall with the help of zone concept. ASA firewall is a zone-based firewall. FortiGate firewall, zone-based firewall. FTD firewall, zone-based firewall. But your Palo Alto firewall is also zone-based firewall. When it comes to checkpoint firewall, by default, it's not a zone-based. Okay. By default, checkpoint firewall is not a zone-based firewall. It's policy-based firewall. Policy-based firewall means what? We write a rule and you get access. That rule can be based on IP address, subnet, user, anything. It does not do a traffic control based on the zone by default. But manually, you can make checkpoint firewall to work like zone-based firewall. Okay. So if you want to configure it as a zone-based, you have to manually configure it. It means checkpoint firewall has both the features. By default, it will work like a policy-based. Why do we call it as a policy-based? What do you mean by policy-based? As per you, what is meaning of policy?
Predefined set of rules we are defined.
According to you, what do you mean by policy?
Policy and state.
What type of rule? Let's say I have a Cisco device. In a Cisco device, what do I call it? In Cisco device also, few of the devices I call it as a policy. In ASA, I don't call policy. On ASA, I call ACL. On Cisco routers, I call it as a ACL. What is ACL? ACL is also policy. You are creating conditions, right? Permit IP with this source host to this destination host. Okay. Permit TCP based this source port to this destination port. That is also policy. In other firewalls, we don't call it as ACL. ACL is term used by Cisco. But other vendors, they call it as a policy. So policy, whatever criteria your firewall allows you to configure, right? That can be given in a checkpoint firewall. Like it can give you options like source IP, source port, destination IP, destination port. It can give you application services, multiple other criteria based on which you can create a policy, create a rule. But it has no zone-based concept by default. It has by default a concept of policy-based. Okay. What can be a disadvantage of policy-based firewall and a zone-based firewall? That I'll discuss later. Okay, when I'll teach you guys, when I'll show you a configuration of a firewall, right? That time, 2 classes I'll just take for policies itself to make you guys understand. So what is firewall and what is zone? Am I clear here,
Yes, sir.
all of you?
So in other firewalls,
Mm.
let's say we have first to define zones like in zone list,
Mhm.
then we can apply policy. But policy is there also. So why it is not known as policy list? Because we are applying policy on zones.
Mm. Okay. Your friend is asking, let's assume we have a Palo Alto firewall. And Palo Alto firewall has multiple interfaces. This is, let's say, E1 by 1 interface, E1 by 2 interface, and E1 by 3 interface. These interfaces are not configured by default as any zone, but it has a predefined policy. It has a pre-policy. That pre-policy is created by firewall itself, system defined. We call it as a implicit policy. These policies are not human created, these are system created. So his question is, if this firewall is not a, if this firewall does not have any zone defined, then why do we have this policy? Am I correct? Okay. See, the answer is, until you don't make these interfaces to work like a zone, this policy is also of no use. If any traffic is not passing through an interface, what is meaning of this policy? And if you want to make any traffic to pass through this interface to other interface, you have to configure it as a LAN and you have to configure it as a WAN and DMZ. Now, when you configure these interfaces as a LAN, WAN, DMZ, then only you can send the traffic through the firewall. And when you send the traffic through the firewall, this rule will impact you.
Sir, he's asking what is the use of implicit deny policy, right?
No, he asked me, if I don't configure the interface, but still I have the rule. This rule is not defining by default any zone.
Yes.
If you see this rule does not define anything. I mean,
Yeah.
this rule does not define any particular zone, LAN, WAN, DMZ. It will show you source zone any, destination zone any.
Yes.
Okay. So it is not configured. These predefined rules are not configured with any particular zone name. Zone names will be applied by you
Yes.
when you configure a zone name, and then when you try to communicate between LAN to WAN, your predefined rule will stop you. It is
Yes.
defined with action as a drop. Why will it stop you? Because source zone is any, under any LAN comes, and destination zone is WAN, and that is any again. So any means it can be LAN or WAN, anything, it stops.
Yes.
So that's how it impacts.
Yeah, implicit rule helps us to get the logged as well, right?
Yeah, you can enable logging at the implicit rule as well. Okay. And kindly put your name in a Zoom. I don't see. What's your name?
Yeah, I put already mentioned my name. Not visible. Ajish here.
Okay. Put your name. So that's how it impacts your traffic. So implicit rule has nothing to do with your LAN, WAN, and DMZ. It by default has any source zone, any destination zone, deny any protocol, it will deny. So that comes into a picture only when you send a traffic through firewall interface. And firewall interface will accept a packet only when you give some name, right? So that's how it works. Okay. Any other questions, anyone? Okay, no questions. So I believe I'm clear with what is firewall, zones, and here also I'm clear with the topmost vendors currently in our market. Palo Alto, Checkpoint, Cisco, Fortinet. I'm not doing any marketing. I'm just telling you a report. I'm not convincing you to do all these trainings. I'm just telling you these are the facts, right? According to Gartner Magic of 2021, see, this is Gartner Magic report of 2021. Palo Alto, Fortinet, Checkpoint, and Cisco is out of leaders. 2022 September onwards, if you see, Fortinet is at the top, Palo Alto at the second, and Checkpoint at the third. Okay. So that's how things are changed. Okay. Now coming to types of firewall. What are the types of firewalls? Generally, when you guys are asked what are the types of firewalls, you'll say, so hardware and software based, right? You know the two. That is correct, but Still, it's not a correct way of telling. There are there are two main firewalls. One is host-based firewall, another is network-based firewall. From here, it starts. Host-based firewall means you all have endpoints, right? Endpoints in the sense you all have your laptop, PCs, and all, right? Operating system, or you install any application to protect your PC. That is called host-based. It protects only your specific PC, does not protect the entire network. That is called host-based. Network-based is you deploy a firewall in a network, hardware or a software you deploy in a network, and that is fixed. Your PC you keep moving from office to home, home to institute, or anywhere. It keeps moving. But can you move the firewall which you have in a network? No, you can't. So it's a network-based firewall, not a host-based. In a network, again, we have two types. We have hardware-based and software-based. So these are the way of telling types of firewall. Again, hardware or a software can be defined as a multiple types. Like you can call it as a stateless firewall, stateful firewall, next generation firewall. And somewhere you might hear about proxy firewalls, right? But I generally don't consider this firewall as a proxy. I mean, proxy device as a firewall. It's not a dedicated device to filter your network traffic. It has some limitations. For example, WSA, Blue Code Proxy. These are the dedicated device to filter your web traffic, only web traffic, like HTTP, HTTPS, FTP, DNS type of traffics. But apart from that, also you have many other traffics, right? We have Telnet, SSH, Ping, and many other type of traffics which are not web based. So where do you control that? Right. It has one of the corner of firewall in a proxy, but it's not a complete firewall package. Okay, this will not be used as a gateway. Proxy devices will not be used as a gateway. But firewall is a device who has to handle everything. At your home, you have a router. To router, you are sending ping, telnet, SSH, HTTP, HTTPS, any type of traffic that you are trying to access, right? So your firewall in a network is a device who has to handle all the type of traffics, either it's email or anything. So it's not dedicated for one, it's a gateway. Now, let's say this is a door of this room, right? In this room, I have AC, I have fan, I have other things. Worth of that AC is to provide cooling in a room, but that's not a gateway. Gateway is my door. With this door, I'll go outside. That's only the one thing through which everything can pass. Air can also pass, you can also pass. I mean, that's only a single gate. Same way, firewall is a gateway through which you pass all your traffics, right? There are extra devices in a network to handle the traffics, IPS to handle threats, WSA to handle web traffic. But all traffics ultimately has to go through firewall. So firewall is called as a gateway. Okay. Slowly, when you become a mature, right, you keep on understanding all these things slowly. Okay, I want to give you guys a task. See, in a class, I'll always keep giving some tasks. Whatever I'll be talking about firewall tomorrow, I'll give you guys task today. Please make a note. What is a stateless firewall, stateful firewall, next generation firewall, proxy firewall? These things I'll ask you guys in tomorrow's class. These are your tasks. Okay. Okay. Guys, today I'll end the class here itself since it's a first day. If someone is missing or anything, at least they can join it from tomorrow. Okay. But tomorrow again, we'll go in a flow itself. There are many things that we have to cover. I guess before holiday, this will be the first week that we'll be having 4 classes. After that, we have 2 weeks holiday. After 2 weeks only will be there. Okay,
What's the
many things.
duration?
Sir,
Sorry.
What's the target date to complete this checkpoint?
The duration is 1 month. So we'll have the classes like every day. You guys will have 2 hours of a class and minimum 25 hours to 30 hours will take a class. But as per syllabus, if you go, hardly it will go 15 hours also. Okay, as per syllabus. No worries, in 1 month we can easily complete it. Okay,
Okay.
see you guys. Take care.
Yeah, one doubt I have. Instead of this 2 to 4,
Mhm.
is there any, hello?
Yeah, Sekhar, tell me.
Yeah. Instead of this 2 to 4, evening batches available for this checkpoint classes.
As
Mm,
of now, no. As of now,
mm.
no. Next month we can schedule it accordingly.
Next month again means we have to start with, I need to start with fresh, right? I mean, beginning.
Mhm.
Same checkpoint or
No,
other
definitely it
firewalls?
will be other one.
Okay. Then it's good. Because working hours, right? It's very difficult to, reserve 2 hours for this class. That's the reason. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, right. Thank you.
Just a minute, guys.
So when you get live access,
Drive access and all, you guys will get it tomorrow. Not today. For checkpoint, I'll give it. Don't worry. So there is a WhatsApp group link, guys. Join it.
Oh, firewall.
One firewall will be of 5 GB. Again, 2 devices we have to put. So 8 GB around. This lab of checkpoint firewall will require around 20 GB or 24 GB around RAM.
24.
Entire lab. 9 GB around will go, 9 to 10 GB will go just with firewall itself. Your PC will consume at least 3-4 GB, right? And will run some router switches from Windows PC and all. So calculating that 20 to 24 GB around it will take.
HME is a problem, but
Checkpoint firewall, that's what I'm saying. Checkpoint firewall is different than other firewalls. I'll show you everything, how to set up everything. I'll show from scratch. Nothing inbuilt. Okay. Don't worry. I'll show you. Yeah, take care.